Welcome to the Tribe 66 podcast. I'm your host, Christie. I'm so thankful you're here for this week's episode. I really wanted this episode. It's a little different than ones we've done before. It's a little bit pulled behind the curtain, behind the microphone, so to speak. I really wanted to do an episode about meet your host. I know I did my first video, kind of what to expect in the 6 pillars here at Tribe 66, but I think in any good friendship that you're growing in, you want to get to know that person. And I really just wanted to share my heart with you, really what the journey of walking with God has been for me, and really that vision and that he put on my heart to start this. So I'm really excited to share that with you. So whether you're listening to this in the car, or maybe you're on a walk or folding laundry, I'm so thankful you're here today. And I'm really excited to kind of share a little bit of my story with you. And I really want us here to get to know each other better and on a different level. So we'll kind of just get started, ladies. I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It was a really cool place to grow up. I mean, I feel very blessed. It was a resort town, and you had a lot of travelers in, a lot of live music, and, that's that beach lifestyle. And it was a blast. I remember just going out as a teenager, on my beach cruiser, or we go catch a band or ride the trolley all the way down to the ocean front. But a lot of really wonderful memories. And I was very blessed to have phenomenal parents. Just amazing. I totally attribute. I love you, Mom and Dad. They have really shaped who I am today. I've had absolutely nothing but love and support from them both. It's actually funny. My dad, at one point, when I probably was more like maybe elementary age school, he was an Awana teacher. I don't know if you've even gone to like a Baptist church, but every Wednesday we'd have this youth group called Awana. And I remember my dad at one point being kind of a leader of that group. And that's when I first memorized my first Bible verse. I think it was John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son. And I just remember those years and just cherish them. And it was a very beautiful time of my life, about a lot of people. And I was first introduced to God. My little sister came along. Now we're about 7 years difference. And I remember her coming along, and to be honest, I wasn't quite thrilled about it. It was all about me at this time. And I was around 7 when she was born. But she's just such a blessing. She's so funny, and she's just such a joy. And it was great. It was just us two, and we were spoiled rotten. Unfortunately, during my teenage years, my parents did decide to separate ways and had a separation. But I will say, even despite that, they never stopped coming together, loving me and supporting me. And I'm so grateful for that wonderful upbringing my parents gave me. And, they went on to re-get married, and I love, their wives and husbands. It was such a blessing. So from that group, I had met my husband. We went to high school together. We were best friends, and he ended up joining the military, and it just from there kind of started. We immediately had 2 children, very young. My first one, I was only like 18, 19, and I was whisked across to the West Coast, and I don't think you prepare yourself when they're that young, but it was a lot. He traveled a lot with the military, and due to his nature of his job, deployed a lot. We probably moved like 12 times, and it was a blessing to be able to travel the United States and see different places, but it also was very isolating and lonely. And to be quite transparent with you, during this season, I believed in God, but I wasn't living for God, ladies. I really wasn't going to church. I wasn't having my intentional time in the morning every with him. And, slowly over time, in the separation and isolation, went through some very difficult things, slipped into some very unhealthy, substance abuse, using alcohol more than I should have, a way to make the loneliness go away. Really, after having my first 2 children, I had a lot of body issues and was definitely unhealthy, not eating as I should have to stay a certain size. And just really, it was feeling there wasn't a lot of that self-love there. And I was definitely coping with things and unhealthy stuff. And lo and behold, unfortunately, after 10 years, we went through a very devastating separation. And at the time, I was living in Alaska, and it brought me back to New York City. And by the grace of God, there, my mom, I was a single mom of 2 kids, really struggling with a lot of things. And she opened me back up to her home, and I went out there, was terrified, a single mom, and ended up back in Virginia Beach with my parents. And I ended up reconnecting to one of my best friends, again, that I had met in high school, and very quickly ended up remarrying. Had a great, first few years of our marriage. It was fantastic. He ended up joining the military, getting back in, and things were going great. And, like a lot of married people do, in that first year after getting remarried, we had discovered that we were pregnant. I was so excited. It had been a long time. My now 2 older children from my previous marriage were 10 years old, ladies. I had a whole decade in between. You want to talk about starting over, okay? So here we go. And I remember it was probably around November. Yeah, because it was Thanksgiving. And I remember I was hosting it at my house. My belly was out there, and I had my grandparents over and his family, and it was fantastic. And we were actually going, I think 2 days later, for the gender reveal. We're so excited, and we're going in there. And at the time, I, of course, didn't know this was coming. We go to get our ultrasound and check the gender of the baby. And we had found out that our baby had passed away, and there was no heartbeat. And I just remember ladies, just being absolutely devastated. I mean, it's one of the most exciting times to go in and find what they have, and to find that. And when I was going to do that, and unfortunately, I had to be brought to the hospital and having to have a D&C procedure. And it was a very dark time. I was very angry and confused and sad. And you almost have to mourn the life you thought you were going to have. Come to find out, after going through that very devastating loss, we ended up having a complication during the D&C, which left me unable to conceive for a very long time. It started this battle of going through infertility. And for years and years and years, I kind of had lost hope, ladies, that I ever was going to be able to have a child again. And to be quite honest with you, it almost became an obsession in my life, like checking, when I was ovulating or what I was doing, and making sure that we were trying on time every month. And I think years and years after doing that, it put a very big strain on my marriage. And I definitely wasn't coping with that in very, very healthy ways. And he ended up getting back in the military, and we ended up getting a duty station where I live now, out here in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And at the time, I was not thrilled about this. I'm like, y'all bringing me to the cornfields? Like, coming from the beach and that type of lifestyle, to be smacked down in this rural area. I wasn't really thrilled about it, and we were still struggling with this infertility things that we were going through on top of deployment. I was just feeling, again, very isolated, and to be honest with you, quite depressed. Lo and behold, for the grace of God, after years of infertility, we ended up getting pregnant with my beautiful son, Jacob. I'm so thankful for him. And it was a very blessed time in our life. We were super excited. We bought this home that I now live in, and everything seemed to be going really good. And then on top of it, as soon as Jacob comes, God said, oh, well, you want all these kids? Well, I'm just going to give you a bonus kid. We end up finding 5 months later, after all this infertility, and I had just been like, all right, this is it. I'm going to have this child. We're putting that behind us. Lo and behold, little Jackson comes on his way. And you want to talk about going from 2 to 4 and the overwhelming of that? Be careful what you ask for, ladies, because you just might get it. And I just felt so overwhelmed. I had 2 toddlers, 2 teenagers in this strange place. And At this time, with a lot of addictions had come into our family, into our lives, and mental health issues. And once again, I found myself in a very unhealthy marriage. And unfortunately, through seasons and things, we ended up going through a very, very devastating divorce. I did not see that coming again. I felt hopeless. I honestly felt like a failure. God, here I am again, a second marriage. And now this time, not only am I a single mother too, I'm a single mother of 4 children. I was terrified, ladies. I had been a stay-at-home mom for both of my marriages. I didn't have a lot of skills outside the home, and here I was, alone by myself in a new place, away from my family, having to provide for 4 children. And it was absolutely terrifying. And I felt this pull to start going back to church. And I had really been doing my own thing, ladies. I mean, I believed in God, but like I said earlier, I was not walking with God. I wasn't in a church family. I wasn't in a small group. I wasn't showing up. I mean, I can honestly say there was days I wasn't even praying at all. I mean, I was really just going on my way. And I just felt this pull to start going back to church. And God knew what he was doing, ladies, to get me out here in Clarksville, Tennessee. And I got a brochure in the mail. At the time, Life Point Church was only inside a school locally here. And they had just built a brand new building, one exit up from me. And they were putting I guess a little brochure in the mail to come. And I just felt this overwhelming sense that I had to go. I had to be there. I packed up me and my kids. At the time, my husband was not willing to go to church. He didn't want anything to do with that. And I said, I know for some reason I got to be here. And let me tell you, my shame, my guilt, the things I was walking through. When I walked through those doors, lady, I said, I'm talking like back row, like nobody can see you. I just felt so much like I don't deserve to be here. The things that I'm walking through, the things that I'm doing, the person I've been over this last season, I doesn't deserve to be in this room. And let me tell you, ladies, week after week of showing up, I started just to hear these things, and it really just started changing my thought about how God saw me. And then despite that, I felt like he wasn't there in these seasons and these difficult things I was going through. He was showing me that he was. And week after week, I started just slowly creeping up from the back of that pew to the front. And let me tell you now, I'm proud to say, ladies, I'm in that front row every single week. And I got my notebook, I got my Bible, and I cannot wait to hear what God has for me. Through those difficult years, for these pain, for the loss, for, the devastation of going through now a second divorce, I needed hope. I needed these people around me, and the church really came around me, ladies. And I went through a divorce care group and got into a small group. And I'm telling you, Jesus met me there, and he just saved my life. And I just found this purpose and confidence. I was terrified. How am I going to support my kids? A job came through, and people were just there pouring themselves out to me into helping me. And I'm telling you, ladies, I don't know if you're currently in or actively going to a local church, but I'm going to just encourage you to click into that community. I'm telling you, these are the women, these are the people that are just going to pour into you. And I promise God's going to be there, and he's going to tell you everything that you need to hear in that season and give you the strength and to get through these hard things, because it is hard down here, ladies. And let me tell you, he's going to be there with you. And I always usually start my episode with a Bible verse. And I really feel like this week, I really wanted to go into Jeremiah. We're in 29:11, and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for a future and a hope." God has good plans for us. And yes, sometimes when you're in those seasons, lady, it feels like, why would God allow these things to happen to me? Why do I keep going through these things? But I promise you, ladies, God has a purpose for all these pains, all these things. And from now being on the other side of these things, I can see that God was in all those moments. He was all those trials, all those things. And I truly believe that these difficult things that I went through are going to be a testimony for another woman when she is scared, when she is like, oh my God, I didn't plan on going this to divorce. How am I going to take care of my children? How am I going to break these addictions? How am I going to come back from a devastating loss like this? And I promise you, ladies, he will give you his strength and he's going to be right there with you. And I'm telling you, he doesn't waste our pain. He uses it and he grows it. And through those things, we learn and we become testimony. We can help others. And I'm so thankful for my children. It took, a lot of seasons over 13 years of infertility and not knowing and things, but I'm so blessed for my children. And I've learned so much by being a mother. I've learned, patience. Lord, you need a lot of patience to have 4 children. Wisdom, grace. I've learned resiliency and just unimaginative love. If I can imagine the love I feel for my children, I couldn't even imagine the love that God feels for us, ladies. And I'm just so thankful for that. And, for a long time as being a single mom of 4 kids, through that season, I gained this confidence in myself, and going back out into the work field and building some skills up. And it built that confidence in myself that I can do this. I do have skills. I am intelligent. I am smart. I can do hard things. And over time, from, getting in these small groups and really being in the Word with God, he healed a lot of parts of my heart that were broken. And I do believe that if you really take that time after difficult seasons and allow God to work in those things, not only is he going to restore you, but he's going to give you some new desires and give you a new heart. And lo and behold, a few years after my devastation divorce, and I'm rebuilding myself and getting my feet, the Lord brings me my fill. Third time's a charm, lady. That's what I'm saying. My wonderful fiance, he is truly a man after God's heart. He really knows his purpose here on earth of helping men get through addictions. And, God brought me from addictions and seeing, struggling a lot with those issues in my marriage, of seeing what healing and restoration looks like through Phil, and that you can overcome these addictions. And he uses that to minister men and to serve men. And he's just been such a kind, loving person. And I'm so thankful that God is renewing me. And you know what? He wasn't punishing me through these devastating losses and divorces. He was growing me. And he gave me the blessing of finding an amazing man in my life. And I'm super excited. We're planning our wedding here soon. And next year, hopefully, get married and just be in a really godly marriage. And I'm so thankful for that. He blessed me with children and love again and purpose. So much purpose, ladies. He's put on my heart to create a place for women who have been through hard, difficult things, and to find hope, to find a place where you can come and you can grow in a deeper relationship with Christ again, that you can find true, authentic friendships. You can grow, you can learn. It's a safe place for us to love each other, encourage each other, and grow with each other. And he really put that vision on my heart. I say probably like a year and a half now. I started seeing the number 66 literally everywhere. I mean, it was everywhere. It was like on every receipt, every billboard, just everything. And I really felt this desire. God, I'm feeling like there's something coming, but I quite want to know what it is. And he revealed to me, 66. Ladies, there are 66 books in this Bible. And God says, I want you to learn every single one of them on a deeper level than you ever had. I want you to live these out, and I want you to encourage other women to grow in a close relationship with me, to find her purpose and to find joy in a tribe of women that are doing life together. Because God doesn't want us to do life alone. He's always there with us, but he wants us to do community together. That's why I think it's so important that we're showing up every single week, that we're clicked in our communities to small groups, to a church family, from people around us. Because when life gets hard, which, let's face it, it's hard almost every single day, we need people around us encouraging us, loving on us, and giving us that accountability when we're trying to make really life changes or helping us through difficult seasons. And that's really what I envision Tribe 66 to be. And I don't want us just to show up every week, lady, and to listen to these things. And, I want this place to inspire you to become a woman who creates that type of space wherever she's at. To grow, but to spread that, to invite that one more into your home, to, invite somebody over, have a small group in your house, to be brave enough to invite somebody to church, to praying over women and doing those things. Yes, I want us to grow together, but I want you to go out and to inspire you to spread that hope wherever you're located. And I really feel like that's what the true mission and vision of Tribe 66 is. And I think it's so important, and I feel so passionate about doing that. And that's exactly what God has done here. So I just, through these next, years, I really am excited to, do some really fun series and learn some stuff with you guys. We're going to be talking about everything from, healthy lifestyle and recipes to working out. We're going to talk about our money, our relationships, parenting, hormones, different stages of our lives. I'm not the same woman I was in my 20s I am now in my 40s. Our identity can change in different seasons, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about finding your purpose. Maybe you've got no idea what it is, and to help you get on a path to help discover that so you can truly walk out. Because I strongly believe that God has given us all assignments here on earth. He sent us guardian angels to protect us while we're down here, but he's given us all specific assignments, and we all have unique talents and purposes. And I'm telling you, once you finally click in, and it's taken me to my mid-40s to find mine, ladies, I have never been more passionate about doing something and spreading hope and starting this tribe than anything I've ever done in my life. Because I know I'm doing this in not only a wild obedience to God, but I'm walking in the purposes and the way God made me. And when you do that, it's amazing. And I'm just a strong believer. If God calls you to it, he's going to pull you through it. And he's going to give you all the resources and the passion and just all the amazing skills to pull those things off, and we all have different unique skills, and things. And I'm excited to do those things. I'm a huge book nerd, so I'm super excited to start a new series called Christie's Bookshelf. And every month, we're going to talk about books. I think my first episode is going to be about the first 5 Christian lifestyle books that really changed my life and gave me hope and gave me a nice structure to run off of. And we're just going to break those down. And I'm just going to encourage you ladies to show up, to have this growth mindset, to just trust in the Lord that he has purpose for you. And I want this to be a safe place that we can come together. And we're going to have a lot of laughs here. We're going to have a lot of tears. And I'm excited for this journey. And this is the Lord's group. I'm just the conduit of it. He's coming through me. I'm abiding in him. And I'm just going to allow him to put on my heart what he wants to talk about and what he wants to grow. And I pray that one week, this will just be the episode that maybe you need to hear that is going to help you through a situation or give you some clarity that you might have not had. So I'm excited about that. And, I want to get to know about you, and your little quirks about you and your hobbies and the things you like to do. And I want this to be, I created a Facebook group, Grace and Growth. And I really want us to be in there, where are you from? What are you doing? I'm going to put some fun challenges in there. And, I'm going to be praying over you every single week. I really envision this to be a place that we're actively communicating with each other. Because there's one thing that you're on social media and you're scrolling, you're hearting and liking somebody's video. But if you're not stopping to click in and to really get to know each other, I mean, you never know. You might find a new friend that's already in your city that's following the tribe, and you guys can link up together. And, I'm envisioning this to do life together, not just to kind of scroll by. I want it to be a community, a close-knit community that we really get to know each other, and I really feel in order to do that, we've got to be intentional with it. Like anything, any relationship with God, with friendships, with our children, if we're not really taking distractions out and being intentional with showing up, it's just going to be stagnant and there's going to be no growth there. And, I've got a lot of quirks and things, I really I put a cribs video, that MTV style kind of showing your crib. And I walked around the Zen Den and I had posted that, but really just, my space and the things that I'm passionate about. I'm so passionate about travel. I love it. And from that passion board, Wander with Mom and Me. And my daughter and me and her created a little travel page and travel thing. And we are Disney and Universal travel agents. And I love it. I have traveled with my kids to Disney so many times. And those have been some of the most precious vacations I've had and memories that I have. And I'm passionate about helping people, spend quality time together and travel, and to making that less stressful and to helping them plan it. And I'm really passionate about that. And it's been a very fun thing that me and my daughter do. And, I wouldn't say it's, my full-time job. It's more on hobby level, but I just love doing it. And it's definitely a passion. I'm also a huge foodie. I say, try anything once, ladies. Okay, get out there. If the food looks weird, try it. Worst case scenario, you don't like it and you don't eat it again. But I'm a strong believer. I love to go out and check out my city, try new restaurants, and I love food and learning new recipes. And I really feel like that could be a fun thing to incorporate into the community as well. Of course, healthy lifestyle. I'm really passionate about working out my body and treating my body like a temple. And I love to be out in nature and go on walks. I do a lot of worship walks every week, and exercising my body and discovering new ways to exercise my body, I'm really on a Grow with Joe, like Tabata, workout morning, workouts right now, but I've done Burn Boot Camp over the last month. I've tried hot yoga studios, and I think it's just fun to discover new ways, not only to be healthy, but you also meet people. And I'm a very extroverted person. I love clicking in and meeting people. And it's a fun way to do that. But I'm also taking care of my body. So habit stacking, and I just am a huge book nerd. Actually, I'm really excited, hobby level, of course, but I've put a goal on that over the next year or two, I'm going to write my first book. It's something that's been on my bucket list that I want to do. And I've actually committed this year to doing that. And I probably read a good 50 to 100 books a year. And I'm excited on that journey. And I just think having hobbies and having goals are so healthy. And I'm excited, alongside doing this tribe and this, journey I'm going on. I thought it would be really cool to kind of write a book about it and my vision. And I'm excited for that, and I hope this book eventually gives somebody hope and, helps her find her tribe. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, ladies, I really believe in this vision. I know 100% that this came from God. And I am just stepping out in obedience. He wants to have a deeper relationship with you. He loves you. He knitted you in his womb. Before you were born, he had write your book, girl. He has your story. And I'm telling you, he is still writing it. And maybe you feel a little like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go in this season, or you're just feeling isolated alone. But I'm going to tell you, this group is for you. You belong here. And I'm so excited to just grow alongside with you, to get to know you. I'm excited for this year. We are going to do so much fun stuff. We're going to learn a lot of great things, and it's going to be a blessing. And I promise you that. So I'm so excited for this journey. I'm so thankful that you're here and you ladies are coming on this journey with me. And I'm just so excited to look back a year from now to see what we're doing and what we've grown in. And I pray that this tribe becomes a blessing in your life. And if anything else from this, get emotional, that this place grows you in a deeper relationship with God. And that if you haven't felt him in a long time, to know that he is right here for you, and he loves you, and he wants a relationship with you, and he's got a purpose for you, and he is still writing your story. So I pray that you have an absolute blessed week, ladies. And I'm really excited to see you next episode. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.